In this video, we are going to understand the whole concept of breach of duty, which is also included in the tort law. The breach of duty is the fundamental concept in the law of negligence. It occurs when a person or an entity fails to fulfill their duty of care to another person, resulting in harm or injury. To establish a breach of duty, it must be shown that the defendant's action or omission fell short of the standard of care that a reasonable person would have exercised in similar circumstances. Now we are going to understand from the cases. First one is Donahue versus Stevenson, 1932 is a landmark case. This landmark case established the modern concept of negligence. Mrs. Donahue drank the ginger beer that contains a decomposed snail, causing her to become ill. She sued the manufacturer, Mrs. Stevenson. The House of Lords held that the Mr. Stevenson owed a duty of care to Mrs. Donahue to ensure the product was safe. The court established the neighbor principle, which means one must take reasonable care to avoid acts or omission that could forcibly harm their neighbor. Another case, Bolam versus Hospital Management Committee. This case refined the standard of care in professional negligence. Mr. Bolam underwent the electroconvulsive therapy without being given the muscle relaxant, resulting in injuries. The court had held that the doctor is not guilty of negligence if they act in accordance with the practice accepted as proper by a responsible body of medical professionals. This is also known as Bolam test. Moving forward, Nettleship versus Weston, 1971. This case involved a learner driver, Mrs. Weston, who injured her instructor in a car accident. The court held that Mrs. Weston owed the same standard of care as competent driver, regardless of her inexperience. In this case established the learner as held to same standard of care as experienced individual in certain activities. Moving forward, these are the key elements that has to be established, the key elements of breach of duty. The first one is duty of care. There must be a legal duty to act or care towards the claimant. Second, standard of care. The defendant must have failed to meet the standard of care expected in the circumstances. Forcibility. The harm must have been forcible, resulting in the defendant's action or omission. 4. Proximity. There must be sufficiently close relationship between the parties. Reasonableness. It must be fair, just, and reasonable to impose a duty of care.